Welcome to These Are the Blades of Our Lives, the figure skating show where I talk to you about figure skating like it is drama for our mamas. On today's episode, I am doing an everything Russian figure skating episode where I look at everything that has been going on in the Russian figure skating sphere so far. Now, as we know, Russia is banned from all international sports. So that's gymnastics, figure skating, hockey. They're banned from everything. However, Russia is still having its own figure skating season with the Russian Cup, Russian Test Skate, and so forth. And we know even though Russia is not competing internationally, we are still going to get lots and lots of drama from Mother Russia. Now, they are about to start their season, and the Russian team has been decided, but I guess there will be some changes to that. Starting off with the ice dance, when they posted this listing, they still had Vasilia Kognovskaya and Valerie Angelopol as part of the team. I will discuss that particular heartbreak later on in the video. Then we have Annabelle Morozov, who is debuting her third partner, Igor Eremenko. We also have the return of Alexandra Stefanova and Ivan Bukin under new coach Alexei Zulin. Yeah, I don't like that man so much that I want to erase his name. Alexei Zulin. We have another dramatic team making their debut, which is Arina Karovnaya and David Nazarim. Now, this is the off-ice, on-ice couple. As you know, David used to skate with Annabelle and Arena used to skate with another partner, and they broke up those two partnerships so that they could skate together because they were together off the ice and they wanted to be together on the ice. I'm actually very interested in this pairing because Arena is very talented, David is very talented. Can they bring that together? I would like to see it. Then you have some of the other skaters. As we know, Russian ice dance took a big hit ever since they decided to sacrifice their program to send Diana Davis and Gled Smokin to the Olympic to please Eteri. That program took a big hit. So a lot of the other skaters I'm not really that interested in, but we do have Elizaveta Kundabaeva and Igor Bazin. They're making their return this season. So I think those will be the teams in terms of ice dance that I will be looking forward to. In terms of pairs, Russia is always leagues above the rest of the world, with the exception of, when we had the strong Chinese. But other than that, it has always been like the Russian pairs who dominate. But I feel like this season, the drama is going to be on ice and off ice, and it is going to be all about the ice battle on the ice between Alexandra Boykova, Dmitry Kozlovsky versus Anastasia Mishina and Alexander Galiemov. Now, while we have that on ice battle going on, we will also have the off ice battle between the tiny Empress Tamara Matvina and the Queen of 40%, Eteri Tuberidze, going on off ice. I feel like pairs in Russia is going to be mostly about these two teams. For the men, we have mostly the usual suspects. We have Mark, we have Peter, Aliev, Makar, Semerin, and Evgeni. There are some others, but those are probably the main contenders for titles this season. I'm hoping men is a little more consistent, and the only person I'm really looking forward to are like Peter. I want to see his new program. Aliev, I'm always looking forward to see Aliev, and hopefully, Makar can finally get it together because he has all the ingredients, but he just could never get it together. Now, the women will again be on ice, off ice drama. So, with one group, we have the group of Eteri Tuberidze, which is Ekaterina, Valieva, Satkova, maybe Kromek, and Petrosian. So those are the ladies under Eteri, and they will be going against the ladies from Plushenko, which is like Mureva, Zelena, and maybe a couple of others. So I feel like it will be mostly between those two groups, with other coaches like Davidov getting a one-off here and there. But I feel like the drama will be once again between Eteri Tuberidze and the Angels of Plushenko. Now, as for the ice dance, we do have a brand new alliance for the House of Morozov. You know, I was very interested in like the Morozov Narazim couple. They broke up, they broke my heart. What can I do? However, you can't keep a good woman down. So Annabelle, forming her new partner, also is now training with Angelika Krolova. And she's still representing Russia. She did not jump ship. She did not abandon the ship. Our girl stayed loyal. I think this is a smart move for Annabelle. With Diana Davis and Gleb Smoking jumping ship, this is a good chance for them to build a strong base and foundation in Russia. And also, Krolova has some of the better choreography coming out of Russia. So I'm really looking forward to see what kind of program she can give to Annabelle. But just as we have one couple forming, we have another falling apart and breaking my heart. You guys know I said last season that Russian ice dance really, after Annabelle and David broke up, I literally said Russian ice dance only has one hope left, and that was Vasilia and Valerie. I literally asked the Russian figure skating to do one thing, which was to keep the Vava couple together. And what did they do? They let them break up. So right now it's a he said, she said situation. So Vasilisa and Coach Krolova uploaded a contract that apparently Valerie and his mom gave to them, which basically more or less demanded that Vasilisa took complete financial responsibility. She paid for everything that was required for the team in terms of their competition. This contract clearly puts all the financial burden on Vasilisa. Now, Valerie's mom has made a statement saying that the contract was actually Krolova's idea. And then she went on to say the financial portion was optional. I've never heard of a contract where the financial portion is optional. It's either you're asking the person to pay or you're not. But that's what she's saying. So according to the statement, it's a he said, she said. But what we do know, based on the Valerie's mom's statement, is that Valerie will go back to skating with his old partner, Sonia Lukinskaya. So he is going back to Sonia Lukinskaya, which was his partner before he started skating with Vasilisa. And Vasilisa and Krolova are now looking for a new male partner to get her back on the ice. This young pair had so much potential, and this is why I hate investing in juniors, because my heart is always getting broken by juniors, especially in pairs and in ice dance. This team had so much potential and so much going for it that I'm just really, really sad, to hear this going on. Now, moving on to pairs, we have Aljona. She was born to be a diva Kostanaya, and her pairs partner, Gregory Kutnesta, they got married. I want Aljona to be happy, and I hope this decision leads to her happiness. I am concerned that they are both so young, that they are skating on ice as partners, and they are also now married. I feel like when you marry your pairs partners, it could either be a hit or miss. It's one of those things, you just have to take your luck. And I feel like after everything this child has gone through, I just want her to be in a healthy relationship. I mean, I, I hope this is the right path for her. I was so happy to see Daria Usashova and Anna Shebakova at Aliona's wedding. The environment that these young women grew up in was so toxic that for them to be able to still maintain a level of friendship, it just means so much. And I'm so happy to see it. I'm so happy to see it, that their friendship has managed to survive, that they've managed to heal and moved on. Like everyone else in figure skating, I desperately, desperately pray that Aljona would decide to skate for another federation. I feel like that is her best chance at getting out of the Olympic. I'm very afraid that even if she were to stay in Russia, given the politics there, even if she were to become a really good pair, given the politics there, she may still end up being buried. So I would love for her to switch federation and go skate for someone else. Then we have Sofia Semendolkina. Oh, my girl wants to represent Kazakhstan. She is requesting that the Russian Federation release her based on the case of Diana Davis and Gleb Smokin. Yes, what's good for one is good for another. Please release Sofia. I feel like Sofia has like decent jumping technique, decent skating skill. For another federation, she could easily become their national champion, go to international competition, and even go to the Olympic. Good for you, Sofia. Please, while you're there, take Kostanaya with you. Kostanaya, go skate for Kazakhstan. Of course, we cannot talk about the Russian women. We cannot talk about Russian figure skating without basically talking about the Eteri drama boat. That is the young women and girls that literally line the 40% road of Eteri's happiness. So we are starting with Alina Zagitova. Alina said, I actually didn't like figure skating at all. My mom brought me into it. Basically, she forced me. She also went on to say, at the Olympic, I didn't communicate with anyone except the coaches and lived with Tuberidze. Okay. Every time I was going to the gym, she would ask, where are you going? Are you going to eat a burger? Okay. Okay. Alina, why would you like figure skating? The environment you were in was spiritually and physically destructive. It's amazing that you survived that whole situation. Why would you like figure skating? Then we have Alexandra Chusova saying, Olympic was a very significant goal for me, and I did everything to be strong that if I skated clean, there was no need to worry. After my performance, I was sure I would win. Yeah, that's because the people around you lied to you. They literally told you if you broke your body and did 5 quad, you would win instead of them trying to approve your skating. That's how they maxed out their 40%. You were not going to win because you were not a complete skater, and they made sure you were not a complete skater. She also said about moving to the group of Slatkada, Slat, oh, I'm not going to get this name right. Sokolovskaya. She also said about moving to the group of Sokolovskaya. I haven't experienced anything like this before, where all the athletes support each other. It's unusual. Um, no, Alexandra. It's not unusual for all of the athletes to support each other. The environment that Tuberidze created, where she put all of you guys at each other's throat, that's the unusual situation. And apparently, you didn't have a better experience at Plushenko because once you moved to Plushenko, Kostanaya also followed you, so I guess you felt like you were still in that same environment. But no, the Eteri environment is the unusual one, not the Sokolovskaya environment. That's what should happen. Then we moved on to Evgenia Medvedeva, who explained, how are we raised? It's either gold or nothing. When I didn't achieve the Olympic gold, I thought I had lost in life. She also said, let's be honest, I can no longer compete the free program, but I don't aim to participate in European and World Championship. I am so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear you have a realistic outlook about your skating, Evgenia, because we all know what happened to your back. We also had Anna Sherbakova just giving us further confirmation of what she went through. She said, I hardly ate anything at the Olympic. At that moment, I believed that the less I ate, the better I train. Anna also said, if my return to competition happens, the fans won't miss it. Uh, Anna also said, I still don't have a clear answer whether I will compete this season. Oh my goodness. Anna, I'm sorry, but after all the trauma that your body went through not eating for an entire period, all the chemicals that's been pumped into you, let's be honest, you will never compete internationally again. Like, why are we playing these games? Why are we lying? You can barely do a double jump. We've seen the videos. You're not competing again. Just because Eteri wants to keep collecting 40% and keep you as a viable option for the international team, we, the fans, are not stupid. We've had literally a decade of history of the Eteri technique. You're not competing internationally again. Then we move to Diana Guserva, a former Eteri student, and she had this to say about the quad revolution. I remember it well because I witnessed it. Anna Shcherbakova was the first to attempt a quadruple toe loop. Then in the next training session the following day, Sasha landed a quadruple sow. Later, Anna broke her legs. Of course she did. And after our training camp, Sasha landed a quad lutz. Okay, nothing to see here. No glaring red flag. Just your everyday physical, emotional, and psychological warfare and abuse. Okay, then we have another former Eteri Tuberidze trainer, skater, Xenia um, Zitsbanova. Oh my God, these names. Zitsbanova, a former Eteri skater who used to outperform Chusova and Shcherbakova, who ended her career at her peak, stated, in the world of figure skating, everything happens a bit unfairly. It was sad, disappointing that I devoted my whole life to figure skating and didn't achieve what I wanted. I imagine it would be. Then we have Sofia Ekaterina, who will be competing this season as part of the Russian team after coming back from her second set of injury. She explained, I wasn't afraid I wouldn't measure up, but I was afraid of making mistakes, that I could get kicked out of the Tuberidze group. Of course you're afraid of that because that's what that environment breeds. That environment breeds a sense of terror. Well, at least you had a little bit to rest during your injury. So hopefully, Ekaterina, you can have a good season and you could be injury free. That's all we can pray for. We also had Kamila Valieva stating, I want to express my immense gratitude to my coaches for teaching me, developing me, caring for me, scolding me, motivating me, tolerating me. Many things in my life has happened thanks to you, including doping you. Valieva. Your doping case is coming on later in September. And as a 15-year-old, I very much doubt you took that Grandpa Super Juice by yourself. Then we had the news of Daria Ushasheva left the group of Eteri Tuberidze. She is likely retiring from skating. Of course, once a skater is retiring, everybody has to comment. So regarding Daria's retirement, Arina Radrina said this, there is a certain turnover in Tuberidze's group, and I am worried when parents' ambitions exceed the abilities and opportunities of the child. Yeah, I would say that. Then we had Alexei Zelenzinokov. Daria Ushashova is now coaching kids in Tuberidze school. She learned from us and now she's passing it all on to the children. Daria also commented saying, in my childhood, I thought, no, I don't want to be a coach. Now I like it. I enjoy passing on my experience, and I have a lot of it. A lot of what? Daria can teach what method? What method can Daria teach to the kids? The same method that left her so injured at 15 years old that her career came to an end? I guess when you take a victim and you indoctrinate her into the method of abuse that was used against her, you can silence that victim forever. And not only that, you can then turn her into another abuser and you could keep the cycle going. Because what can Daria possibly teach anyone after the painful, destructive situation that she went to? Like what can Daria teach at having her career end at 15? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Aljona Kostanaya also posted saying, in my childhood, I had a few injuries, and they were all minor. However, in the last 4 years, there have been many fractures, many moments when it seemed like this is the end of my career. This just goes to add on to the long, ever-ending list. Now, for the most obvious statement in the history of obvious, from once again Arina Radrina, she stated that something is not quite right in the Tuberidze coaching staff. Really, Radrina? You don't say. Please tell us more. Speaking of Eteri Tuberidze, the queen of 40% herself, she had these comments to make. She said, after creating numerous programs, there is always a sense of emptiness inside. That's interesting because I always thought that it was because that team was so empty inside that they felt the need to put everything plus the kitchen sink into their program, making it so cluttered to fill the empty void. But I guess I was wrong. Eteri also said now the quality of training process will be much higher. She said this about the new figure skating center that they are opening up for her. For those who don't know, Russia is giving Eteri a brand new skating center just for her, good old Eteri. I mean, the saying go that no good deed goes unpunished. I guess we should also start saying no bad deed goes unrewarded because Queen of 40% keeps coming up roses. Now, Sergei Dudikov, the number 2 henchman in Team Tuberidze, had this to say. Everyone is jumping, but the one who gets more pluses for each element and has balanced programs win. You understand that, Sergey, that the program should be balanced, yet somehow it doesn't always translate into your skaters. He goes on to say everything matters. Style, dresses, hair, makeup, every detail. This statement lacks self-awareness. I'm just going to leave it like that. Now, it's not just Eteri in her group. Sometimes I wonder about the heads of Russian figure skating in general. Tatiana Teresova had this to say about Trusova possibly retiring. She's not doing anything to get back to competition. It's very unfortunate that she has no responsibility. Let's see. This poor child was broken physically, emotionally, in front of the entire world. The people who broke her, who by the way was also drugging other children at the same competition that they broke her, took no responsibility. But yet you want the child that is trying to cope with the destruction of her dream to be the responsible one. Okay, okay. Then we had Tiffany Zagorski and Jonathan Guerrero. They have competed for Russia for years. Tiffany and Jonathan are the reason that Russia held on to 3 spots in the international sphere for so long. So now they decided that they were going to announce their retirement. Because why wouldn't they? They've already been screwed over so badly by the Russian Federation when they were literally tossed aside so Diana Davis and Glenn Smokin could go to the Olympic. So why would they continue? What would be the point of it? Now, instead of like everyone just saying, oh, you're retiring, good luck, or not saying anything at all, the Russian peanut gallery went to town on them. Alexei Zulin, oh my God, started with his nonsense of shittery by saying Zagorski and Guerrero were remembered only by the fact that they are from different countries but represented Russia. Nothing to talk about. You should not talk. Tatiana never missed a sound bite. Terasova added, I wouldn't say they skated great. I didn't even know what kind of career they had. Really, you commented on several of their competition. I just don't get it. And then Ilya Ababuk finished by saying, is anyone interested? I don't. Then keep it to yourself. The peanut gallery of Russian figure skating never fails to deliver. But of course, the king of the peanut gallery, Zulin, had one of his greatest hits when he informed us there are methods of encouraging judges in figure skating worldwide to cheat. It's unproven but exists. Zuhan, it's not unproven. It is not unproven. There are dinners on record where white envelopes were passed around for judges to cheat. They literally have tape recorded conversation of judges making trade-off. It's not unproven, Zulin. You have done it yourself several times because we know some of your skaters really should not have medaled when they have. No, Zulin, it's not unproven. You yourself have proven it many times. You have proven it. Ooh, there were also some other skaters, non-Eteri, who also shared their experience. So this one really broke my heart. Partners used to support the coach saying, if you don't want her to yell at you like that, lose weight. This is an article about Russian pair skater Julia Antipova, who almost died because of an eating disorder. Instead of her partner supporting her while she was going through her eating disorder, her partner told her to lose more weight so the coach would not yell at her. Then we had Katerina Gabalt, who literally said, instead of a leg, I had a bag of bones. That's all that was left intact. Wow. This was after her trying to overcome injury while trying a quad throw in a harness. So it's not just the singles, it's pairs. I feel like it's every discipline that is just going through this hot mess. But I do feel like the younger generation of Russian figure skating are finding their voices and they are speaking, and there may be some light at the tunnel where we have some change. So our one and only the Empress Elizaveta Tutamisheva told us, if competing against girls who can do quad affected me mentally, I would have retired a long time ago. Instead, I go out there and I focus on performing well and doing my job with quality. And you are improving little by little. You are improving, Empress. And I'm glad you are having the longevity and the ability to improve. Then we also had Alina Radinova saying we need to eliminate the word diet from sport. It should have been replaced with proper nutrition. This is Alina Radiova about puberty and weight control. Oh my God. I am so glad to hear this coming out of, a Russian skater who probably had to go through this ordeal and overcome it. Then we have Smatlava Kostanova, who said, people still often ask me how much I weigh. Are you sure that in the 21st century discussing someone's figure is necessary? It's not necessary. The person who asks you how much you weigh, you should tell them to mind their own damn business. Evgenia Medvedeva also told us, when I went through the realization that I might not compete again, I thought, all right, I need to take even a small step into real life. For that purpose, I need support of a psychologist. Oh my God. Yes, 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 yes. Evgenia also said, when you're skating, you still have a boss. In our case, a choreographer, a coach, a second coach. And now I felt like the power over my life. Yeah, this is what happened when you take charge back of your life. You get a good psychologist and you start to really evaluate yourself. I'm glad that Medvedeva is really putting mental health at the center of her new life. Good to hear. Then we also had Mikhail Kulyada, who is taking off the season, and he's saying, I can't be in perfect physical condition due to health problems and mentality. I am not in a good state. Thank you. Thank you, Kuliada. You know where you are physically and emotionally, and you realize that you need to take the time off to just get yourself together. And it's not just the younger generation who are showing the class, the integrity of Russian skating. You also had Timira Masvina. After her longtime team of Boykova and Kloskowski switched over to Tuberidze, this is what she had to say. The emotion of 20-year-old athletes can differ from those of an 80-year-old coach. She didn't throw them under the bus. She didn't say they were ungrateful. She didn't ask for their flowers. She didn't ask for them to do an international apology session. She just said we had differing opinion. This is class. This is maturity. This is professionalism. Then you also had like Alexander Galiemov, who is their competitor, saying it's great to have sparring partner Boykova and Kovslavsky, and our pairs were pushing each other. The guys left, but this is sport. The coach rubbing off on the student. This is class act. Even if you don't mean it, there's a way you carry yourself in public, and there's things that you say and you don't say. And I'm so glad that Galiemov is really mimicking Masvina, because if there's someone you should mimic in Russian figure skating, it's definitely Masvina. You know, I'm just happy overall to hear so many of these young Russian skaters and older Russian skaters speaking about self-care, speaking about mental health, taking the time that they need to just bring themselves where they need to be. But you know, Russia can never leave us drama free. And this one was just the best drama for the ages. Adelina Snukova said, in 2014, they said they found doping in my probe. I was supposed to have a trial, but I was acquitted because the second sample was open and everything was fine. To this statement, RUSADA, the Russia Anti-Doping Agency, okay, had this to say. We don't know anything about this. They basically said, Adelina, what you talking about? Well, we don't know nothing about this. Of course, this only kept going because the Korean Sports Council reportedly requests a reinvestigation by the International Olympic Committee of Adelina regarding her recent statement. Now, I know when this came out, everybody was like, yes, Queen Yuna is finally going to get her gold medal. However, I knew this was not going to go anywhere. I also felt like Sochi was such a hot mess and such an embarrassment for the International Olympic Committee, the IOC. They were not going to dig into it any deeper. They were going to leave those skeletons buried exactly where they are. And especially now they have the Kamila Valieva hearings coming up. Especially now they have another embarrassment in their face they have to deal with. They were not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. And so, of course, the International Olympic Committee will not look into recent doping admission by Russian figure skater Alina. The IOC stated, we clarified the situation with the Korean Olympic Committee. At the time, there was no doping case. So they basically went to the Korean Olympic Committee and was like, listen, shut up. We don't want to hear about this. We're not digging this up. If you do us this favor, we'll do you another favor down the line. They made a deal. The IOC is so corrupt. They would just make a backdoor deal and they were not going to dig into the whole Adelina doping situation, because that embarrassment is just too much for them to deal with on top of the Kamila Valieva embarrassment that they have on their hands right now. Now, in the never-ending Grandpa Super Juice saga, Kamila Valieva, Dr. Feelgood, Philip Shavosky, the doctor who very likely gave Kamila the Grandpa Super Juice, had this to say. We didn't protect Kamila. and it's a fact of guilt for all of us. But I must exclude myself from the list of suspects in this story. You're the prime suspect, my man. This is why a drug supplier should never test their own supply, because I am positive our good Dr. Shavasky is drinking the same grandpa super juice that he gave to Valieva. Because how are you going to exclude yourself from this situation in a state of delusion when you're the one with the record of actually drugging athlete? This just made no sense. And then everybody just felt the need to throw poor Valieva under the bus. So, we also had, other people saying in a legal sense, and it practically means that Valieva should be responsible for everything. How? How is Valieva, the 15-year-old child at that time, responsible for what the adults did? So I don't even know what to say about this situation. And it just keeps going. So in the Valieva scandal, um, USADA is asking for a public hearing for Valieva. They want this to be a public hearing. They want to be there to hear what is going to be said, so that the decision is not just delivered to us, but that we know what was said and how a resolution came to be about. So Zulin, of course, was like, America have become shameless a long time ago. I don't know why they're doing this, but they are crossing all boundaries. Really, Zulin? Because they want this case to be out in the open, because they want to hear what's going on in Valieva's case. They're shameless. The people who drug the 15-year-old are not the shameless one, but the people who want to hear about it so there could be a resolution, they're the shameless one. Okay. And things just seem to get so much worse for like minors, because then we recently heard a news story about Alina Gabasheva, the 16-year-old junior champion of the Cup of Russia, who disappeared for 19 hours. So, to summarize the story, Alina was living with her coach, Sofia Fedchenko. So Sophia took custody of Alina when she was 9 years old. So when she first took custody of Alina, Alina still had some involvement with her family. So her family was still in her life. However, by the time Alina turned 13 and she started winning some competition, in order to make her mentally stronger, her coach, Sophia, decided that she would have no contact with any of her family members. Unfortunately, this is not an uncommon practice. We have like a very famous case where Eteri decided that Alina Zagireva's mother would have no contact with her at all during her Olympic year. In this situation, Eteri was actually kinder than Sophia, because Alina still had the chance to have her grandmother around and she could be in contact with other family members, just not her mother. So anyhow, after 3 years of this situation, no family contact, her coach having complete control of her life, Alina appeared to have run away. If you read the stories that are coming out, it appears that this child was just fed up and wanted to escape her situation. She was gone for exactly 19 hours. Fortunately, the police found her unharmed, and she was returned, unfortunately, back to her coach, Sofia Fedchenko. Now, of course, given how warm and supportive the Russian figure skating peanut gallery is, they blame everything on this poor child. And whenever the peanut gallery start blaming something on a minor, a skater who is a minor, the only outcome is going to be a public apology by the skater to the coach, regardless of what it is the coach did to them. So, of course, Alina Gorbacheva said, "Everything is fine now. I'm home with my beloved coach and mother. Don't worry, my actions have nothing to do with figure skating or my coach." Honey, oh my God. The godlike power that these coaches have in this sport is truly frightening. No one should hold that level of power over a child. Skating is just a sport, and the emotional, physical, and psychological abuse that these kids go through is just too much. At this point, all we could do is pray for the health and safety of Alina and kind of hope that her family takes back control legally through the court, whatever means, take back control and buffer this child from this coach, because this is just a truly dangerous situation. But anyways, this is my take on everything that has been going on into the skating verse, into the Russian skating verse before their season start in full swing. I'm expecting there to be a lot more drama coming out of Camp Russian figure skating for this season. My only hope is that it's not about child abuse, it's about something else. But you guys let me know in the comment below. What other dramas do you think we're going to get from the Russian figure skating camp this season?